Hi friends, it's Carl coming to you from the Courtyard Garden at Graham Parks. And for those of you who may be learning from home right now, I'm making these videos to share a little of what we have going on in the garden. Even though we can't be together, I can still show you some of the cool stuff. Now that it's October, there's a lot changing in the garden. We're transitioning from summer, now we're well into fall, and winter's not too far behind. So lots going on with the plants and animals in the courtyard, and I'm going to share a little bit of what's going on with you. So what I have here is a small white flower. These flowers have a cool name. They're called cosmos. I'm going to back up and show you the whole plant. You can see, let me focus here, a lot of these frilly leaves on the plant. They're drooping, they're starting to turn brown and get all shrivelly. This plant's in the process of dying from the cold. One thing gardeners do this time of year in the fall, you can take some of these dead flower heads, and on the inside of this are some seeds to grow more flowers the next year. So you can save those. You see those little green things. It's a little sad, but there's new life to come from this flower plant next year. So what gardeners do with fallen leaves and dead plants, like the cosmos, is you take them to the good old compost bin. This is one of the most important spots in the garden. And you may think, Carl, this stuff's gross. All these dead twigs and shriveled up plants. And I'd tell you, no, it might be a little gross, but it's extremely important for the garden. This stuff, it's breaking down, and it provides gardeners a very important ingredient for growing the garden next year. Not just those seeds, like with the Cosmo flowers, but nutrients to grow new plants next year. So my question for you is, what's going on in here? What do you notice happening? What do you see? What do you know from other experiences already? Like this, look at this little apple core. See an ant crawling on it? A couple of them. What do you think they're doing here? So we'll return to that compost bin in future videos. But what I want to leave you with is thinking about the science of nature and growing plants out in the garden. Now, even though I'm not in a white lab coat or wearing goggles, gardeners are scientists. You need to have an understanding of how plants live and grow, how they interact with the world around them, the animals that may be in the garden. And that's what I want to teach and share with you all. So there's one special spot in the garden that I'm standing right next to, and that is the rotting log. Right? You can look for this sign. And you can check out the rotting log. I'm going to take a peek right now. So here is the rotting log right next to the sign. I put this here a couple of weeks ago, and it didn't look quite so broken up as it did. You see some of the pieces on the ground here. I'm feeling it with my hands. It's really kind of mushy. You can kind of see it. It's soft. Also feels damp, like it's wet. You can see it loose. You can see all this breaking apart of the wood. So what do you see happening here? What's going on? Some of the most interesting stuff is underneath. I'm gonna tip it over here. See what I notice. You can see the wood of the bark. You see it's almost like powdery. It's almost like something's been chewing this stuff up. You look down here, you can see some more of that wood chip powder. And you can maybe also see some of the bugs responsible for that. It's right here. See a little millipede. Has a lot of little legs. I also notice a little pill bug or roly-poly. There's a tiny one and then a bigger one. There's another. There's a little ant. All sorts of little bugs underneath this rotting log. So I'll end this video with asking you, what do you think they're doing here? Why are they hanging out under this mushy, rotten log? We'll talk more about this rotting log the next time.